the call. That is, in a nutshell, the purpose why we're here, to make a call that yes, we can, and yes, we will, and we'll get our lives back, and we'll overcome the pandemic. Thank you very much, Honorable MEC.
Thank you, DG. Simzwela Swankanged. DG speaks about all of us coming together to make sure that we're able to get back to normality. Our next speaker for the event is going to give us a welcome, the first citizen of the province, Premier David Mabuza. May we please welcome him on board.
Thank you very much to our program director, the MEC for Sport, Arts, Culture and Recreation in Gauteng, co-directing with the DG. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge His Excellency, Deputy President of the Republic, Deputy President Mabuza, the Minister of Sport, Arts, Culture and Recreation in the Republic, Minister Nathi Mthethwa, the Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Mthethwa, the MEC for Health in our province, Dr. Thembi Mokgethi, the presidents of the various sporting bodies in our midst. I have seen Dr. Danny Jordan, the SAFA president. I've also seen the president of rugby, SA Rugby, Mr. Alexander. I want to acknowledge the presence of the Mayor of Johannesburg, Mayor Jolie Di Matongo, the convener of the Community Constituency Front, Mr. Mabalani Mfundisi. Dr. Stavros Nicolaou represents business for South Africa. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and I've seen many creatives and the fans. Today marks the return, actually, not the plan. Today marks the return to FNB Stadium. Today marks the return to FNB Stadium. Minister, thank you very much, Minister. We have been looking for the return to FNB Stadium. So we start bit by bit. We will hear from the Deputy President when is the real return. I would like to welcome you and start by making reference to a creative activist and cultural scholar, Okakura Kazuko, who reminds us that the art of life is a constant readjustment to our surroundings. And COVID-19 tells this story no better than any other in our lives. We have been forced to make major readjustments in our lives. So we gather here today to launch a campaign led by Minister Mthethwa, and the Deputy President is here to help us launch this campaign, the Vaccination Social Mobilization Campaign. And this is a beautiful day. This launch represents a major step forward in readjusting to the reality of a new normal where we learn to live with COVID-19 and coronavirus. We can only fully return to some new normality when we have vaccinated between 67% and 80% of our population. And vaccines are the most powerful game changer in our hands. Vaccines are in our hands, and vaccinating is in our hands. raising public awareness about the importance of vaccinating, and addressing all the myths, the fears, the fake news about vaccines is very central to winning this battle. But the best people who can carry this message are all of you who are here. We can only do so much. And young people say we must fight fire with fire. We must fight fake news with better news and good news. What is better than thinking about returning to theater, Brasipo? What is better than thinking about returning to the stadium, returning to the game, returning to the gig? What is better than that? So it is correct that the theme of today talks about returning to the game and that this is in our hands. This is a very empowering theme, Deputy President, which calls upon all of us to play our role and play our part and to take charge of our own health and to take charge of our own lives and not leave things to government. This theme emphasizes the power of collective action and the ability of a people united in action in every sector to take their destiny and their future in their own hands. And together we will make our country safe and reopen every sector of our economy, particularly the creative and gig economy, to offer livelihoods to millions of people bet on their talent, to put bread on the table. To achieve this goal, we need everyone on board. And today, in the campaign led by our national government, joined by the provincial government, and government a strong message. And that message is that we can only together this goal of reaching more people and opening more sectors of our life. We stand to return here for a full game. And for me, I want to add a game of the vaccinated. We want to return here, full game. We want to see many sectors reopening. COVID-19, like other threats, such as climate change, can only be defeated when we work together. And we must say we can only be safe when we work together. And we are better together when we confront every problem in our lives. Gauteng has gone through a very difficult time with the third wave. Very, very, very difficult time. I am glad, Deputy President, that as of yesterday, the National Coronavirus Command Council has declared that we are out of the third wave as Gauteng province. Officially, we are out of the third wave. But being out of the third wave doesn't mean we must not be careful. It means we must vaccinate more people. We must continue to vaccinate more people. If we want to return to some kind of normality and open more sporting and cultural events, we must continue to vaccinate more people. There's no doubt that the artists and the athletes suffered a great deal during this period of COVID-19. And we have to ensure we get the jab on each and everyone's arm. On Friday, we were with many artists and athletes sending out this message to return to full stadia, to return to full concerts, to return to full theaters. But we can only do so when we are vaccinated. We also want to return to churches. Again, even with the religious sector, we say the same. We can only do so if we vaccinate more people. And vaccination will give us that human touch We want to attend our games. We want to attend concerts. We want to attend weddings. We want to attend also funerals, but safely, all of that safely. We want to return to loud cheers and laughter. We want to hug. Can you imagine what it means to miss just hug somebody you meet? But all of this can be done safely when we vaccinate. And even when we are vaccinated, Deputy President, we should still wear our masks when we are in the vicinity of others. We must sanitize. We must also do some social distancing. I want to conclude by saying our province is a huge province. Gauteng province is a huge province. 1 out of every 4 South Africans live and work in Gauteng. We still have a very long way to go, but we have administered 3.5 million vaccines, reaching 2.6 million people. And out of those, 1.6 million are fully vaccinated. I think all of you who are here are fully vaccinated. Am I right? All the vaccinated, please raise your hand. All the vaccinated, please raise your hand. Thank you very much. When we are vaccinated, we look forward to Christmas. Woza Christmas. When we are vaccinated, we want to have a family lunch. Christmas family lunch. But may I add, is a family lunch of only the vaccinated. At least in my family, is a family lunch of only the vaccinated. So we say all things hurrying. We must avoid getting to the fourth wave
not only safe
without vaccinating.
But it is the right
we welcome you
do.
all.
Now it is
Let us vaccinate now.
To enter the stadiums and
thank you very much, Minister, for launching this
cricket,
great campaign. We want to return for a proper game here.
And international.
And we shall return.
You will be able to join us.
Get ourselves back in the stadiums.
Contest.
Thanks. I was complaining, Deputy President, that short people are being marginalized. This mic keeps going up, and I feel very... thank you very much, Honorable Pima, for the welcoming remarks. We will now, I think the Premier was very clear about one thing and one thing only, and that we want to vaccinate, and that we make sure that when we have vaccinated, we can have this stadium full. When Ghana was playing against Bafana, with a wonderful win, but they could not celebrate it with their fans. It became extremely lonely, but it was a victory in loneliness. We want to end that. Therefore, thank you very much for the remarks. We will now have the videos, just messages that will be shared with us by our space personalities and people that are of influence who have the following enough to get others to listen and join in this campaign. We will have 3 video messages from Mr. Lawson Naido, who is the chairman of Cricket SA, and then Mr. Francois van Kook, Afrikaans musician, and then the Juvels Fantasies Afrikaans band. We ask then that the videos please be played. Is there a way that one of the screens can just turn that one on the right so that
We are a nation of sportsmen who enjoy packing into our stadiums to revel in that special sports atmosphere. Spectator participation has been badly missed, and the only way we can get you back to where you belong is by getting everybody vaccinated as quickly as possible. Our national teams and individual sports people across the sporting codes have only been able to resume playing because they were vaccinated. It is a clear message that the vaccine is not only safe and dependable, but it is the right thing to do. Now it is the turn of sports fans to enter the stadiums and sports arenas. As cricket, we have begun the season with cricket coming up, both domestic and international. We certainly hope that you will be able to join us to enjoy these contests. Sport can lead the way to making us a safer and winning nation. Thank you.
The problem being taught, DG, is we constantly have to adjust. Ladies and gentlemen, can we get our next message from Mr. Mabalani Mfundisi? The convener of the Community Constituency Front.
let me adjust it up. Thank you, Program Director, Deputy President, Deputy Minister, Premier, Mayor, all protocols observed. See, when we come here, we say to ourselves, because there are those that sit there at the VIP area, there are those who sit extra strong. And when we speak, when we want our team to win, we sometimes speak to our hearts and say, Kitla Roma. The Premier has spoken, we're here. The biggest challenge is not the launches that we make, but it is the action that we must take after the launches. It is the engagement that we need to have with the people. Because anyone who is not yet vaccinated, and we want them all to be vaccinated, we're not going to send them a voice note or create a nice song and then they are going to wake up and vaccinate. They want us to talk to them. And that is the power that we need to use. The power of engaging, the power of making people to feel at ease. This morning, a colleague of mine who is a survivor of TB twice asked me that, well, because you are vaccinating, tell me why must I vaccinate? And I said to him, if you can tell me why you put on a safety belt when you are driving and why you have gone for your treatment of TB, then we can have that conversation. But all I'm asking of you is that you need to go and do the right thing. So we as the Community Constituency Front, we bring together the SANAC Civil Society Forum, Netball Community Constituency, and other voices in civil society. We have created 5 pillars under our community-based measures. We have been at this work since 2020 when the announcement was made, and we have never tired. When hope was there that we may overcome, other challenges came up and we folded our sleeves, we moved on. The pillars we work on include using leaders as ambassadors, as well as looking at the vaccine agenda. And leaders as ambassadors, we have people that have large following, and our plea to you is that you must use that public power that you have to ensure that you have conversation with others, so that the challenges that they have to make the great step is answered and we can win them over in our vaccine drive. Our date includes using our media and communications platform to engage with colleagues and communities in order to win people over, also to use social media, as well as ensuring that we represent the voices of our communities. At home, there is Itumeleng, there is Puluso, there is Basimani. Itumeleng and Puluso are my nephews. Basimani is my swar. I don't know how to say it in English, but it is swar. They are men, and they were not vaccinated. And as I championed this cause, my conversation with them was, if it means me taking you to the vaccination site in Kawani, which is where my home is, I'm going to do so. I'm happy that after the engagements we had, they listened, they took the decision and went to the vaccination site. And if each one of us, just 2 million of us every day, we win 2 people over to go and vaccinate the toughest customers that we have, by the end of this month, we will be reaching the numbers that will ensure that we reach the numbers that will enable us to enjoy. We want to come to FNB. Our commitment going forward as the community constituency is very simple. We have mobilized gatekeeper organizations who have influence on men, because men are the toughest customers that we have in taking up vaccine. They have story after story. We must listen to that story. We must help them walk through that particular story so that ultimately we convert them into the champions we want to have. Here in our midst, we have the Football Players Union. We also have the South African Music Industry Council. We've mobilized the National Union of Mine Workers, Contralesa, Access Chapter 2 that works with the LGBTI community, COSATU in terms of labor, NUPATSA, which organizes the traditional health practitioners. We also have the South African Youth Council as gatekeepers, and we are saying, use your power to ensure that we don't talk. We have talked enough. Last week we were at Netball. We were talking about what it is that we need to do to open up the spaces. I'm happy that, Minister, you have taken up what we are talking about and putting it into action in terms of ensuring that we all use the power that we have to mobilize those that we have. So as the short MC comes next to me, let me say that sport has the power to change the world. It is in our hands to use that power to convert this into a win. Thank you. It's an incorrect name. I am not short MEC. But we are saying that Jova ndoda Jova. Vaccinate ndoda, vaccinate. Because they are saying we, the men, are the toughest customers. That doesn't sound good. we must make sure that we do vaccinate. We will now then get a message. Please, 3 minutes is 3 minutes. Make sure that you cut your message to 3 minutes if it was longer. We will now take the Vice President, first Vice President of the South African Sport Confederation and Olympic Committee, Ms. Lwandile Simelane.
To all the amazing fans out there, I was privileged enough to play in stadiums filled with all of you, shouting, screaming and willing us on for many, many years. And yet, for the last year and a half, we haven't been able to do any of that. We haven't been able to see our favourite sports men and women. We haven't been able to go support our favourite.
Anbonani, Tsanzek Bingelela, Deputy President David Mabuza, to all representatives of government, all the leadership of sports, of arts and culture, our athletes, and everybody who is joining us here this morning. What a moment that we have waited for as the sports sector in this country. It stands for victory, but we are happy that it can once stand for vaccination, which will also guide us towards victory. We as the South African Sports Confederation and Olympic Committee support very enthusiastically the government's return to play initiative and the vaccination drive. Like every sector, like every household, like every community, sport has suffered, and we have borne the brunt of COVID-19, not only by losing legends, leagues, but also by having stadiums closed. The word home ground advantage took a very different type of tone when you have no stadiums in your home, when you have no supporters in your home ground. This has also meant that families have had to watch their loved ones on television only. We have just returned from the Olympics and the Paralympics. Empty stadiums, athletes had to participate alone. It is a very lonely situation. So we encourage all South Africans. Hambani niyojova, sitawuqhubeka ngetindo temidlalo. Stadiums will be opened. We will all be very excited to come back to support what we love and to support each and every athlete that is doing what they love. Thank you. Hambani.
Honourable Minister, Honourable Deputy President, Honourable Premier, Honourable Deputy Minister. First of all, I'd like to, on behalf of South African football, and let me also message from the FIFA General Secretary who was here. She is very impressed with your initiative and says this is what she's going to take the African continent. We need fans back in the stadium. When we started and when COVID first arrived, we were looking for what is the solution to COVID. And all the medical scientists, the epidemiologists, all of them went about to look for the solution. The solution was then, let's get vaccinated. That was the solution. And then we questioned the solution. So let me look at what's happening in the hospital. This is Groote Schuur Hospital on the 6th of September. On the 6th of September, there were 156 COVID patients in the hospital. 156. 153 were unvaccinated. In the ICU, there were 66. 66 were unvaccinated. On ventilators were 32. 32 on ventilators in the Groote Schuur Hospital were unvaccinated. It's very clear. If you're unvaccinated, you must go to the hospital. You can't come to the stadium. It's very clear. We want you to come to the stadium. We don't want you to go to the hospital. And once you go to the hospital and you go to ICU and you go to the ventilator, there's only 3 options. Either you go out home, you go up, or you go down. And depending on your religious position, whether you go up or down, I don't know. But when we look at what happened in Europe, why is it Euro finals can have 60,000 people in the stadium, can have fans celebrating before, during, and after the match, hug and embrace each other? Look at our stadium. Bafana played 9 matches that you may know. They unbeaten consecutive matches. These fans have seen them. This is a new Bafana. They were last in the pre-COVID Bafana team. There's a new. They are unbeaten. But we are going to meet with them. Depending on our agreement with the minister and how many fans we have in the match against Ethiopia, we're going to give 50% of the tickets to these fans to distribute free, provided and prove they are our medical staff, they are the compliance officers. If you prove to them that you are vaccinated, they'll give you a free ticket. So we want to thank the government. We totally support this initiative. We have to get our nation vaccinated. In all the province, our structures are supporting the initiative, and this is a wonderful day. And thank you very much, Honourable Deputy President, Honourable Deputy Minister of Health, and the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture. Thank you very much.
Deputy President, Minister of Sport, play a video from our captain.
To all you amazing fans out there, I was privileged enough to play in stadiums filled with all of you, shouting and screaming and willing us on for many, many years. And yet, for the last year and a half, we haven't been able to do any of that. We haven't been able to see our favorite sports, men and women. We haven't been able to go support our favorite teams. And we, myself, I went into a stadium as a commentator to watch a British and Irish Lions tour against South Africa, and not one fan in the stadium. These are the times that we're in, but we do have a tool to get back to some kind of normal, to get back to the stadium, and that's the vaccination. I myself have been double jabbed, got my second jab a week ago, and the stats around what the jab can do and the vaccination can do for you from a health point of view and a protection point of view is phenomenal. I always deal in facts and stats. That's how we got about our business as a rugby team, and got all my flu vaccinations as a kid. My children have had their vaccinations. And this is our answer to be able to get to some kind of normal, to rebuild our economy, but more importantly, for people like myself who were sportsmen, to get behind our team, and support them once again, to get ourselves back in the stadiums and to get that amazing gees back as a country.
Sorry, can you play the current captain now? I'll play the sound. The sound should be up there, but anyway.
How did everyone in here from the Springboks. I just want to say on behalf of myself and the team, I would like to encourage every single person to try and register to get vaccinated, as we want to try and get back to as much normality as possible. We, as a team, have been vaccinated, and I'm telling you, I know from a personal story, I had COVID, and it helped me quite a lot. I had no symptoms, and I was back playing in no time. So I encourage everyone, so we can go back to doing the things that we love as soon as we can, to register and get vaccinated, encourage our parents, encourage our loved ones, our friends, because it's the only way that we have a chance of beating COVID. And also, to our fans, to our supporters, to our family, we miss you so much. We can't wait to see you back in the stadium. We can't wait to play for you. It's really, weird or awkward us being in another country where it's going to be a fully packed stadium and we can't have you guys at home. We miss you so much, so this will also help, for selfish reasons, for us as a team, just to have you here and watch you and spend time with you on the field. So please get vaccinated. We can't wait to see you guys. Love you all. Cheers.
Thank you. I think the stadium system's got COVID. As citizens of South Africa, we all have the responsibility to join the fight against this devastating pandemic. And the most effective way we can do that right now is to ensure that all adults are vaccinated. The government cannot fight this pandemic on its own. We know we are stronger together, and that we all look forward to enjoying a life as normal as possible. Being vaccinated protects not only you, but your loved ones and your community. The Springboks are proud to be vaccinated. They care about lives and livelihoods of all South Africans. Join the Springboks, get vaccinated, encourage people of this country to get vaccinated. Protect yourself, protect others, get vaccinated. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the sports leadership, top administrators for their message, and the message from the sport influencers who are icons to our young people in particular, but all South Africans in general. Can I then move with speed and ask that the president of Netball SA, Ms. Cecilia Molokwane, comes and addresses, give us a message of support. She will be followed by the female sport personality, captain of the Spa Proteas, Ms. Msomi Bongi, and then we will get a message of sport personality support from the men who made all of us stand up in South Africa and believed that we can win the World Cup 2010. Unfortunately, it was not to be, but he scored a beautiful goal, and that will be Baba Simpiwe Shabala. Thanks.
Thank you, DG. The Deputy President of the country of South Africa, our Honorable Minister Nathi Mthethwa, the Premier of Gauteng, Dr. David Mabuza, and the Deputy Minister of Health, and our young, vibrant MEC of Sport here. We are from the sporting fraternity, we have to acknowledge it, and all dignitaries. And my colleagues in sport, not forgetting our Vice President of SASCO, Melwandile Simelani. You know, Deputy President, if you want a thing done in this country, you must send a woman. Don't send men. It will never be done. So send us as women and say, go and campaign and talk to the world and talk to the country and go to each and every corner, and everybody will be vaccinated. We're talking like this because we're proud as Netball South Africa, because we took our Spa Proteas, the best female team that is performing in sport in the country, by the way. That is Netball. The ones that will be for the first time in the history of sport in the country, the history of sport in the continent, be hosting the first World Cup of netball in 2023 in this country. So we took our girls and say, you must vaccinate because they are going to take on Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago in Jamaica in the month of October, and said, each and every one of you must vaccinate. And we are preaching that everyone who's playing the Telkom Netball League right now, which is underway in Pretoria at Hartfeld Arena, where there are no spectators, and the spectator is the most important person on court, because the extra person that says go Bo and go Linis, go whoever, makes them go a bit harder on themselves and want to perform and to please them. So we want the spectators to come on court. We want to fill the City ICC in 2023. So we will plead with each and every one of you that go vaccinate. And you know what? It's not only for you, it's for all of us. Let me thank you. Please go vaccinate.
With all respect, greetings, Minister, and everyone here. It's a pleasure for me to be part of this occasion. I think it's very important for us, especially as athletes. I'm Bongim Somi, the Spa Proteas captain, here with my mom, Cecilia Molokwane. And we're speaking here about such a sensitive topic for us as athletes, especially. Myself have been one of the people who had COVID-19. And I think if you get to that position, or if you have to experience it, you actually have to understand how important it is to get vaccinated. I think the most important worry is when you start worrying about your family, about where you're going to isolate, about how you're going to interact with them. And if you don't want to take care of yourself alone, then you're not taking care of the people that you love that are around you. We work with lots of sporting kids that are coming through our projects, through work, and we want them to be safe. We want to share the message of positivity in terms of them going to get vaccinated. We obviously know that there's a lot of messages going around, and if we don't lead the front to make sure that we share this message and make everyone feel comfortable in terms of going to vaccinate, it's not going to happen. Someone came here and they said, it's enough about talking, it's about doing the work. And I think from today, being here, I want to go back and I want to share this message that people go and vaccinate. We have to do this for the love of sports, especially because it's life. Sports is life, everyone knows that. And just for our health and everything going forward, we have to get back to normality. So thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. And it is upon us now to go back and do what we need to do. We know what to do. People need to get vaccinated. Thank you so much.
Program Director, our Deputy President, our Minister, Deputy Minister, Executive Mayor, our MECs, leaders in business, and leaders in respective positions in the sports fraternity, our beautiful fans and members of the media, all relevant stakeholders, all protocol observed. I think 2019 has taught us that life has uncertainties with COVID-19, which has taken a lot from us. We lost our loved ones, we lost everything, and with the introduction of the vaccination, which was going to be a solution to our problem, I, for one, I'll be honest, I was very skeptical, very hesitant to take it. And, I conducted my own research. I spoke to different doctors asking for advice. And I realized that it is the right thing to do. And not so long ago, I took my jab on live TV. I'm here, I'm alive, I'm healthy. So it is effective, and I just want to take this opportunity to encourage people to take the vaccines, and let's try and refrain from negative information. Let's make sure that we ask those who know and give good advices, and we all have a role to play. Each one, teach one. Let's take care of ourselves. We miss our normality. We miss our social life. We miss going to the stadium, in a packed stadium. Up until now, I didn't even know that, the seats were orange because it's an empty stadium. So we miss the vuvuzelas. We miss going back to the normal life. And I'm very optimistic that, if vaccinate and if we encourage many people to vaccinate, we'll soon go to, our normal life. Thank you so much.
Without wasting time, thank you very much. Simpiwe, yeah, the seats are indeed orange. But maybe you problem of being colorblind when you see the fans. Can I then, without wasting time, just call upon the message on behalf of sports fans, and that will be Owabasa Make, the soccer fan. They will be followed by the mixer of all these discs, there's so many other musicians and artists, and that will be DJ Tira, who will also then come forth, and then the president of SIFSA, and that is Miss Mbowan. Yes, Miss Mbowan. Uyempel Kola kuzobe khona la upresident weSIFSA ngizocela ukuthi balandelane ngaleyo ndlela. Okay. Saddam.
Sanbonan Macheloni Bonjo Hoyomore afternoon. I'm a speechless, but because this is not my department to come in the front, my department is to be at the grandstand. But that is beyond my control. I like to say, Rainbow Nation, our beautiful country. Yes, we lack to go back normal, where we belong to. We as supporters will be struggling a lot of time. Myself, I never know that someone, somebody will stop me going to stadium in my life. But it happened because it happened with the reason. I traveled 17 countries, 11 Africa, and 6 overseas. But it stopped it. My record is not enough because of this COVID. Now, I like to say to supporters, whatever fans, South Africa, you are lucky because our supporters, they never do like another country. They never push, they never force to come to stadium. They listen to the government regulation that we must stay home. It was very tough for me to watch the big game, Sundown Pirates, Chiefs, whatever at home, because my grandchildren, my kids, they were shocking when they see me jumping inside the house on the sofa. I didn't know what to do. They see me that I'm ugly and I'm raw. And then, but today I feel like I can stay here until we play Ethiopia. Everybody will stay here. Vaccination is here. Everything is here. I'll sit here until Justice Road. But I like to say to you, all South Africa, we are the best from the rest. I never see supporters I've been doing on the social media, Twitter and Facebook, and said, please, let's not be hooligan. Let's behave. Don't go to a stadium outside or whatever. This has happened. I never get any report President of SAFA never get a report, and Minister never get a report that bad or whatever. All the supporters, they knew that South Africa, we are the best. That's why I said today, I want to tell you that it was overdue, because we've been standing, waiting about more than 19 months, since 27 March, after the President announced. And then I didn't know I can sit there wearing a mask, I can sit there sitting at home, social distance, whatever. But the main issue is we're done, and we trust our leadership. Everybody must vaccinate. We'll send the message to the supporters. I'm calling all, wherever you are, fans, supporters, super fan, everyone. Let's follow the protocol. Let's get vaccinated, Joe Vane. Because why? President said there are going to be chances of us 50% to watch the game against Ethiopia. The boys, they need us. But my message, please, the ticket that the president is going to offer us, whatever, they must not sell the tickets at the ShopRite or a computer ticket, because they're going to board it by wrong person. And when they come here, they're going to be found out two of supporters are here, the rest is not. Why? Why I'm saying that? We must coordinate this one and help you as a leader, that we as supporters will also behave, we know the rules. So please don't take the ticket and give the wrong person. Otherwise they're going to take the ticket and black market, they're going to sell that, and at the end of the day, social distance. What are you going to do? The stadiums like this, I made an example. Bafana play, we one place, that side, we're going to have one chair, social distance, one chair, we're going to have a coordinator, make song for Mthethwa and sing, and then that is going to be our first test. If everything is all right with the number that President of SAFA gives us, the number will go more after we vaccinated, after we behave, after we support our Rainbow Nation team, because people are complaining, but today it's overdue. Thank you very much to everyone. I love you more than yesterday. Viva South Africa, viva. Long live Mzansi, long live. We are there, we are back. Yes, COVID must fall.
Greetings to the Deputy President, the Premier, Ministers, the Mayor with us, all protocol observed. So this other time I was thinking, then I sent a tweet, December, fact and rocks, no vaccination card, no entry. Yo! Our people are against the vaccine. There is a lot of fake news that is out there that is corrupting the minds of our people. And we need to be more vocal about the future is in the vaccine. The Europe and the US, I'm like, they're going back to normal. At first I was like, why are we so behind? Okay, we were told, no, we're a third world country. Things will come, will happen. Now we have all the vaccines we need. So what is the problem? Then now, hey, vaccine is a trial, vaccine is that. And I'm like, really? You want us to go back to normal. And our only hope right now of going back to normal is to get vaccinated. On Monday, I got my second jab of the Pfizer vaccine. Aguna magnet ehlizlana, aguna 5G, aguna lose. So really, it's all in our hands to go out. Our artists are dying, they are hungry, they want to work. And the only way we're going to work is that we get as many people vaccinated as much as possible. We are not forcing anyone to get vaccinated. But if you don't want to vaccinate, shut up, stay at home, and don't say anything. Don't corrupt other people. And we are urging as many people as possible to go out and vaccinate, because we are going back to normal, like it or not. Thank you.
Okay. The Honorable President, Deputy President, the Premier, the Mayor, the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, MEC, the creatives and people today siyabulisa. Bengizocela ukuthi ama-artists akhona namhlanje who are here to support this program to come forward. With me, I'm with the President of South African Music Industry Council, Ubaba Uvuslio. My name is Joy Mbewana, the President of the Cultural and the Creative Industry Federation of South Africa. So if artists are here, bangeza ngaphambili sokhuluma indaba yethu. But because of time, I'm going to continue ikhulume as ozakwethu beza. Mengibona utira ukuthi ngithi president awuvule. Yeah, sibambe nje. Social distancing. After the national COVID-19 lockdown announcement by the President on the 23rd of March, the creative industry was badly affected. A number of our practitioners were left without income due to the loss of job opportunities. Most of our arts practitioners are audience-based. Due to the lockdown, the loss of audience meant the loss of revenue. Most of our creative workers found themselves engenamsebenzi, engenazo indawo zokuhlala. They could not even afford rent. Most of our creatives are independent contractors. There is no work, no pay without any compensation. Regulation demands COVID-19 put a lot of stress as they struggled with basic needs. Some artists could not even afford ukuthenga nje i-mask or i-sanitizer. This pandemic immediately forced arts practitioners to move to the digital platforms. And unfortunately, we were not prepared and we did not have enough resources, especially artists that are coming from rural and township. They could not afford to practice and to do what we love the most. With us, I'm an artist, ukuba khona kwe-audience, it means umsebenzi wenzakele. So we are here today to say we understand that we also have a responsibility as creatives, as much as sifuna ukusebenza, but we don't want our events to be super spreaders. Our lives is emsebenzini wethu. Imagine having to be in a production where you are supposed to hug someone, if it's a play or a film, but you can't do it because at the back of your mind something says social distance. So we are happy that the government realized the importance of us, especially in communicating and helping our fellow South Africans to understand why is it important to vaccinate. As much as we want to go back to work, but we are very patriotic, we love our people, we love our country. So we are also going to play a huge in every way ukuthi abantu mabaqonde ukuthi it's important to vaccinate. We had a debate in one of the groups utira bacishe bambulala nalento yakhe vaccine. He's now called Mr. Vaccine in KwaZulu-Natal, especially in Durban. Some even say ayukhokheli utira niyambona. So we are here to support and to do what uNkulunkulu asibekele yona, which is to help in building the nation. These are the creatives. They are willing and able and ready. Thank you very much. Masjovin.
I think from the industry, we also would like to ask, especially our officials, government being here, that as we support the initiative and asking even our fans to ensure wherever they're consuming or enjoying our product, which is music, that they too should make sure that they join the campaign and they go out there to vaccinate. We appeal to the government side to please put more money into the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture so that they can be able to support the creatives and the people in sports, because the impact has been even much harder
So as we go out and asking the artists to vaccinate, they need to pick themselves up besides the event. So we plead. We know that the bigger purse is not within the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. So in support of the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, we're asking the government to urgently look at one of these urgent factors, the fact that the sector is crippled. It needs more money. The department has done the best they can do with the limited resources that they have. Please look at this, including corporate. Please support. We are here to spread the news to make sure that everybody follows the cause and they take up and vaccinate. Thank you.
Cishe kancane nje ngathi ake senze uJerusalem ngibona abantu abathile bo Jerusalem kodwa ke without ukuchitha isikhathi ake ngicele nje laba bokugcina bese ngena ku official program yethu MEC umama umbali Hlophe will then take over. Sizocela nje na ubaba uKhuzani bese sithola umama wethu uvice president wesisek uYvonne Chakachaka. Just those messages. Best again, hand over to Osiswam. Thanks.
Ngibingelele Deputy President, ngibingelele Minister, Deputy Minister, ngibingelele Premier wethu lapha eGauteng. Ngiyokhuzana ke mina umculo kaMaskandi, kuthiwa ke the King of Maskandi is the President of the Blue Nation. Ngilapha ke ngizokhulumela kakhulu amaciko njengoba sazi ukuthi uma sikhuluma ngoMaskandi sikhuluma ngomunye umculo othi mawucula udlulise umlayezo unjengoba unjalo esizweni. Siphinde futhi sibe ngabantu abathandwa kakhulu emculweni njengoba nazi nani ukuthi ngilandelwa zingumbi zabantu. Ngijula kakhulu ukuthola leli thuba lokuthi ngibandakanye nalesiqalo esihle kangaka esithi abantu abayo vaccinate ukuze izwe lizobuyela esimeni. Uma ngihamba ke ngiphuma ngena ngiye ngibona abantu bekhuluma bethi bona hayi kungani emazweni angaphandle i-stadium seyigcwala abantu abasafaka ama-mask. Bese ngiphendula mina ngithi ngoba bona ba vaccinate asika vaccinate. Ngiyacela ke kakhulu ngiyabonga kakhulu futhi namaciko akhona la nabo bonke abantu abathe bazoba ingxenye yalelo hambo oluhle kakhulu onxusa abantu ukuthi abaphephe ngokuvaccinate. Ngabona ke uza kwethu lapha uTira uMakoya postile lapho ukuthi kwi Fact Rock no vaccination card no entry. Ngangithi nami ngizomlandela ke njengoba phela ngagcwalisa imabhida lapha ngoMaskandi. Ngangithi ngizomlandela ngisho nami ukuthi cha njengoba sesizoze egoli sizokhuleka kuwena baba Makhura sizogcwalisa iOrlando masuka lapho siyafisa futhi isigcwalisile ne FNB. Ngangithi ngizosho ukuthi cha nami kuyigcwalisa no vaccination card no entry ngathi yo ayangisezi uthi ngize kanje cha ngisezi nga vaccinate nami ngaposta futhi ngasho ukuthi sengivaccinatile cha bengithi mangabe kufiwa ayiseniyobona ngami ngaposta bathi abantu rest in peace kodwa ngiyamangala namanje ngisekhona. Ngiyabonga kakhulu abantu abahambe bawo vaccinate izinkulumo ezikhulunywa ngabantu singazinaki ngoba ngiyayibuze nje ukuthi izinkulumo engaka Tira hey odokotela laba abatrainwe phela bodokotela abaspeculator kangaka ukuthi once wa vaccinate uzofa sokufe bani singaka vaccinate. Kubhlungu ukubona abantu bakithi bedlula emhlabeni sikhala imihla namalanga silahlekelwa amalungu emndeni silahlekelwa izihlobo zethu kusele izintandane kodwa sekushiwo kwathiwa asambeni siyo vaccinate. wathi ke omunye umlungu minister omunye umlungu lapha ngibona ko social media ethi nina hamba no vaccinator nina nina ngisho amathini ka fish wathola kithi phesheya embangifuna umbulala sanibulala kalula nje angeke siye sithi son job siyabonga kakhulu yazi yayinhle into eqaliwe siyacela ke bahlonishwa bethu ukuthi njoba sikhona singamaciko uma ngabe senihamba bahlonishwa ningasikhohlwa nihambe nathi nje nathi ngoba sesishaya ukuvukayo manje ayikho imicimbi akukho lutho manje makuqhamuka ukuthi kanje nathi siyakwazi ukuthi sibeke iphalishi etafuleni siyabonga kakhulu.
Usondele South Africa uzolandela nje manje ngiyacela siswami usondele la kimi ungabi kude South Africa will follow the Queen of Africa umama Vice President weSisek umama uYvonne Chaka and then bese kulandela ke Miss Shudufatso Musida Miss South Africa.
Thank you, DDG. Deputy President, Minister, Premier, Deputy Ministers, everyone who's here. I'm very, very happy to be part of this. We've got a DDG who is a woman. Please, DDG, stand. We've got a MEC who is a woman. We've got our basketball lady who is a woman. We've got our Miss South Africa. We've got women. Women are an ocean, nurturing and strong. Basho njalo bathi tumatina mama. CSAC is an organization that is based in France. And I want to say, as the Vice President of CSAC, people are performing overseas because they're adhering to the laws. Yes, if you have vaccinated, it doesn't mean you don't have to then adhere to the protocols of COVID. We still have to sanitize, we have to mask up, we still have to practice social distancing. Deputy President, artists, musicians, we are not paupers. We shouldn't be made paupers. We want to go back to performing. We want business to go ahead. I see the business sector is here as well. So artists want to go back to work. I know there's too many conspiracy theories and fake news sells every time. And people can even doctor things. You know, people can do all sorts of things. But I think if we love ourselves, if we love our people, if we love our families, let's do the right things. It begins with you. Let us not force people who don't want to vaccinate, but let us make sure that we do the right thing. Naysayers will always be there, but let's do the right thing. It all starts with me. It all starts with you. Thank you very much.
Deputy President Mabuza, Minister Mthethwa, Premier Makura, Deputy Minister of Health Lomo, MEC of Sports, Hlope, the Mayor, all dignitaries, artists, athletes, fans, and members of the media, and SA at large, Ndimachironi, I am Shudupadzo Musida, Miss South Africa. It's been a trying and daunting time for South Africa and the world as a whole. We've lost lives, livelihoods, etc. to the pandemic. We've had to adapt to lockdown regulations, social distancing and all. All these drastic changes have added to the mental health issues that we're already struggling with as a nation. Some people were affected more than others. The anxiety and the stress that comes with the fear of contracting the virus, that comes with mourning the loss of loved ones, and not being in positions to financially take care of our families. I'm glad that there's hope, that we stand as a country like most countries now stand with the chance to win the battle against COVID-19. I am honored to be representing South Africa at the 70th Miss World in December. I get to represent a country that I'm so incredibly proud of, one that I'm very confident will beat this pandemic. The most resilient country that the world has ever seen, a victorious country that has faced many adversities and will do the same with the pandemic. We have done well as a country adhering to regulations, adapting, and being innovative to survive this. And now there's hope. May we remember to take full advantage of this, understanding that not only will we be protecting ourselves, but also protecting those around us. We have a collective responsibility that we will protect the economy of the country. When the country's opened again, we can open businesses, learning institutions, the sports, the arts, events, tourism, and every industry that has not been fully opened yet. I hope that we remember how fortunate we are to have access to the vaccine, and that sooner rather than later, the sooner we have been vaccinated, the sooner all of this can happen. So let's vaccinate. Ndoribu.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much, Ms. South Africa. May I then call upon the representative from business, and that is the man who has been really behind this, to support us in ensuring that South Africa gets access to vaccine and we vaccinate, and that is Stavros Nicolaou, Business for South Africa. Thanks.
Program Director, Excellency, the Deputy President of our Republic, Ministers, Deputy Ministers, Premier, esteemed ladies and gentlemen, and fellow South Africans. It is indeed a great pleasure for business to join today's critically important campaign. Organised business through Business for South Africa has been working together with and alongside our government in many different facets during the COVID pandemic. And more recently, we have joined forces with our government to vaccinate the nation. There is no more important decision that you will make this year, important investment you will probably make in your lifetime, than to get vaccinated as quickly and as soon as possible. Many people have spoken about statistics today. I'd like to, from the business community, cite some of these statistics. Firstly, we know that these vaccines are safe and effective. Why do I say that? I say that because 5.6 billion people around the world have taken a COVID vaccine. 14 million South Africans have taken a COVID vaccine. So these are safe and effective because we have not seen people dying off like flies, as fake news suggests. We have not seen people going to their graves. We have not seen people swamping the hospitals because they took a vaccine. We are seeing people swamp the hospitals because they have not taken a vaccine. We've seen in this third wave, devastating and tragic third wave that we've experienced, we have seen people die because of COVID. Those that took the vaccine did not get very ill and they survived. I was speaking to, let me give you the second of the three statistics I wanted to give. I was speaking to the CEO of one of the biggest hospital groups in our country. And he said to me, during the first and second wave, 43 doctors and nurses that died, all unvaccinated. Third wave, which was far worse, 0. Not one single doctor or nurse died in the third wave. Why is this? It's because they vaccinated. Let me mention the third and the final statistic. Our government, and many of you will know, our Deputy President chairs the Interministerial Committee, the IMC. Our government set ourselves a target to vaccinate 38 million South Africans, fellow South Africans, by 31 December. So in 4 months' time, we are sitting at 14 million single dose, and we've got some way to go, and we've got 4 months to go. How many people we vaccinate between then and now will determine whether we have a good Christmas or a bad Christmas. It's as simple as that, fellow South Africans. I say that because we will go through a fourth wave, like many other countries have done. If we vaccinate sufficient numbers to get what we call the epidemiological containment of the pandemic, if we achieve that, then some of the things that our Premier spoke about, basic things like having a Christmas lunch, hugging loved ones, that will be possible. But let me end off today by saying that there is no bigger unifier, no more powerful a unifier in our country than sport. Sport lifts the nation. During bad times, sport lifts the nation. It never fails to lift our nation. And I stand here before you today, like Shaba, not realizing that these seats are orange. And I sit, Minister, at home and I watch the Springboks play in Kavega and the stadium is empty. And then I flick my channel and I go to Anfield where they're playing in England and the stadium is packed to 5,000 in the stadium. Why must we not be at 55,000? Can we get to 55,000? We definitely can if we vaccinate. So let me end off by saying the message is very clear today. Vaccines are safe and effective. They save lives. Do the right thing. Go out and get vaccinated to save your life and the life of others next to you. We can only be safe ourselves if we are all safe. We can only all be safe if we vaccinate. Go out there and do the right and responsible thing. And thanks very much to each and every one of you, those 14 million that have vaccinated, for doing the responsible thing. Thanks to all our leadership up on the podium who are driving this campaign. Thank you to the sports fraternity, the artists, the creative sector, all critical sectors in our economy. Let's assist to open up our economy and start living normal lives again. Thanks very much.
I think you've put it so well that others were wondering why sport and arts are combined. We must always remember that sport itself is art, and you cannot then talk of the two as being separate. The last message is from our golden, our silver girl from the Olympics, and that video message, she couldn't be here with us because she's studying and in exams, but she had agreed to send us this message.
I'm Tatiana, world record holder, Olympic gold medalist. I received my vaccine before the Tokyo Olympic Games. I'm very grateful that I had no side effects or have contracted COVID since. Feel comfortable in getting the vaccine to your local, and let's get those stadiums full.
I wouldn't say it. Thank you to all our artists. DP, you can see that everybody is eager for things to get back to normality. And we certainly must do this. And the central message that everybody has said is that we all need that it happens. Our next speaker is our Deputy Minister, Dr. Ndlomo, who will give us some remarks regarding the vaccination program.
Thank you very much to the program directors, MEC wethu in Gauteng, Ms. Mbali Shophe, Baba Mkhize, DG in Sport, Arts and Culture, our Deputy President in our country, Baba David Mabuza, our Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Nathi Mthethwa, our host Premier, Baba David Makura, MECs, my colleague MEC Dr. Noma Themba. By the way, Honorable Premier, this MEC last week to me made a very serious comment. We are presently getting 75,000 vaccinations per day from Gauteng, and she was saying, Comrade Dlomo, we were in another meeting, then she calls me Comrade. Comrade Dlomo, we would like to push towards 100,000 as Gauteng alone. Now, that is a very serious commitment, but we are very happy that in the country, if Gauteng can do it faster and better than the rest of the country, we are getting there. Our mayor of Johannesburg Metro and other mayors, they may be present, our distinguished guests, leaders of various sporting codes and entertainment industry, our current and former esteemed sports athletes, artists, and members of the media, greetings to you all. On behalf of our Minister, Dr. Phaahla, we are extremely grateful that we are part of this very august event where leaders of sporting coordinating bodies, athletes and artists are making commitments to join hands with government to save lives and livelihoods to make our country a safe place to work in, stay in and play in and visit. Indeed, it is clear that vaccination may claim some form of normality to our lives. As Honorable Premier has indicated, under the leadership of Ramaphosa, Deputy President David Mabuza, this government has secured enough vaccines. We have also our capacity in terms of human and vaccinations so that all people are able to and vaccinate to protect themselves and their loved ones. Despite all these negative comments that are there, we are grateful that our momentum of vaccination is all going very well on all our adult population. Just a few statistics. In the last 24 hours, we have administered 202,000 vaccines, 202,737 vaccines, and that has pushed our to 30,894,000. So Dr. Stavros was quoting 14 million, so she was rounding up that 13,894,000 vaccines since the beginning of our vaccine rollout. A total of 10,218,000 adult population out of a target of 39 million, rounding it to 40 million, 39.79, have received at least one dose. And this translates to 25% of the total population in the age group. It's very important to keep on talking about one dose, because our scientists are saying even with one dose of Pfizer, you are 80% protected. The second dose is to make you 100%. Now, we want to be here to encourage men. There are a lot of them in artists, and I'm glad Mama Africa. If you want to tuma men, tuma woman. Yes, it is true, because out of 100 South Africans who are vaccinated, 58 are women and 42 are men. Now, we want to encourage the men to come in, because generally men are not a species that is a health-seeking behavior. We know Babu Mfundisi, even in HIV, they say, my wife has gone for a test, therefore I test HIV. No, it doesn't go like that. You go yourself and test. So you go as a father, as a brother, to also go and vaccinate. Although the daily numbers of infection is gradually going down with fluctuation numbers of deaths, we're showing us that we are not yet off completely of the third wave. Some provinces have done very well. Our daily vaccination target is 250,000 minimum, and Gauteng is contributing in that pot 75,000 already. But more work still needs to be done because our president has actually instructed us to push numbers to at least 200,000 vaccinations per day. We have noted an increasing number of people who are probably not second dose, and we plead with them, please do come back. We appeal to all our athletes and artists to use their influence to encourage their supporters, their followers, to emulate them by doing the right thing of protecting themselves and those around them. We know that the majority of you have got a lot of followers and supporters on your social media platform, Babu, Tira, Usuge Washu, but we hope that if you come forward and vaccinate, if our country will have to open, it will be because you are pushing them that you have vaccinated. We don't need to make vaccines mandatory, voluntary, come forward and vaccinate. We do not know when we will get the fourth wave. The predictions from the scientists is that there will be a fourth wave. But we determine that December, January, if it does come, we must find vaccinated. Enough evidence that if you are vaccinated with the fourth wave, you will not actually go to hospital or ICU. We thank you and we really appreciate this very historic event because at the end of the day, we are the best beneficiaries of empty hospitals, people not being sick, and that's a good performance for Dr. Phaahla and us if we see you all vaccinated. Thank you very much.
Siyabonga, Deputy Minister. We're going to receive a vaccination promotional. Please get Smith Black.
South Africa.
South Africa. Let's vaccinate. Stay alive. Let's vaccinate. Save South Africa. If you are safe, let's vaccinate. Stay alive. Let's vaccinate. Save South Africa. It's not about you. Let's vaccinate. It's not about me. Stay alive. It's about all of us. Let's vaccinate. Save South Africa. Fellow South Africa, don't be a vaccination. Let's vaccinate. It will save our lives. This is South Africa. This is South Africa. Let's vaccinate. Let's vaccinate. Stay alive. Stay alive. Let's vaccinate. Save South Africa. It's not about you. Let's vaccinate. It's not about me. Stay alive. It's about all of us. Let's vaccinate. Save South Africa. If you are safe, let's vaccinate. I am safe. Stay alive. Stay alive. Let's vaccinate.
vaccinate.
Save South Africa.
Fellow South Africans, don't be afraid of the vaccination. It will save our lives.
South Africa.
Fellow South Africans, don't be afraid of the vaccination. It will save our lives.
South Africa.
Let's vaccinate.
Let's vaccinate.
Vaccinate.
Stay alive.
Stay alive.
Let's vaccinate.
Vaccinate.
Save South Africa.
It's not about you.
Let's vaccinate.
It's not about me.
Stay alive.
It's about all of us.
Let's vaccinate.
Vaccinate.
Save South Africa.
If you are safe,
let's vaccinate.
I am safe.
Stay alive.
Stay alive.
Let's vaccinate. Save South Africa.
If you are safe,
let's vaccinate.
I am safe.
Stay alive.
Stay alive.
Let's vaccinate.
Vaccinate.
Save South Africa.
Fellow South Africans, don't be afraid of the vaccination. It will save our lives. Asikumeni, 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 singabi navalo, asikumeni.
South Africa.
Let's vaccinate.
Let's vaccinate.
Vaccinate.
Stay alive.
Let's vaccinate.
Let's vaccinate.
Vaccinate.
Save South Africa.
It's not about you.
Let's vaccinate.
It's not about me.
Stay alive.
It's about all of us.
Let's vaccinate. Save South Africa.
Lady Smith, Black Mambazo. They truly are the pride of our nation. Nizwele, let's vaccinate, stay alive. Minister, if I might call you to the podium. We're going to receive our live vaccination that Minister will be assisting us to conduct, and then he will give his input.
Thank you very much, Program Director, MEC Mbali Shope. Let's vaccinate, stay alive. When Black Mambazo was coming on stage, I didn't see them, but someone saw them. And this person who saw the Black Mambazo, he didn't say that, is this Black Mambazo? He said, Abomshengu Laba, the clan name of Oshabalala. Now he happened to be Umshengu himself. His Excellency, our Deputy President, Baba Mabuza Mshengu. It was Umshengu coming. The Premier of our province, Gauteng, Premier Makura, who has been putting up a formidable fight with his team against COVID-19 in this province. We know that at some point, Gauteng was an epicenter of this pandemic. The work you have done, Premier, with your team is seen and commendable. And thank you very much. The Deputy Minister of Health here with us, Deputy Minister Lomo. Thank you very much for the message, Dinangwe. Our own MEC of Health in this province of Gauteng, Nomathemba Mkheti, MEC of Health, with us here today. The leadership of sport
led by the Vice President of SASCOC, here with us, Ms. Melane. The leadership of the creative industry led by the President of CIFSA, Joy Mbewana, not Mboweni. I heard the DG saying Mboweni. Opinion makers in the sport, arts and culture industry, our corporate partners, represented by Dr. Stavros here, Nicola with us, members of the media. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm particularly thrilled to be here today and to see this happening. It's very important that the whole nation observe this, that when you have the sporting fraternity, when you have the creative workers, things happen. When we don't have them, it's all quiet. Our areas, our creative areas, the theaters and cinemas and all other places, museums, are quiet since last year. Here, FNB and elsewhere, there's no vuvuzela. Now, when you have that, we thought we needed to embark on this campaign. And this campaign of it is in your hands. And indeed, it is in your hands. There's no question that the last 19 months have provided each and every one of us with a true meaning of the word deprivation, for which we can all blame the pandemic. This deprivation has taken the form of restrictions to how we previously exercised our livelihoods, personal liberties, consumed entertainment products, and grieved for the loss of the loved ones. Up to now, the public reaction has been to look to government to prescribe how we needed to modify our behavior in response to an invisible and constantly changing enemy. Indeed, we have waited on government to tighten or relax the existing restrictions, except those relating to mask wearing, washing of hands, and social distancing. Thankfully, advances in the development of effective and sufficient stocks of vaccines have managed to offer the public an additional avenue to combat the virus through making vaccinations available to all South Africans. However, the unidirectional observation of what the government was going to relax or tighten can only go so far. Also, the reliance on taking people to vaccine sites rather than the other way around has had to be a strong consideration. The upshot of this approach is prolonging the negative impact on the economy with the predictable hardship on livelihoods. A two-pronged approach focusing on both livelihoods and return to play is likely to produce better results. What this calls upon is an accelerated government-community social compact which tackles the virus from both ends. The social compact has, at its core, a win-win outcome for everyone concerned. The greater the population of the vaccinated, the sooner the economy can be reopened, and in the sport, arts and culture community, the quicker we can get back to watching our sports stars and creatives at various venues. The one quick and trusted ingredient to attain that status is to maximize the population of the vaccinated. As we said last time, that we've passed the phase of relief interventions. We are now focusing squarely on the reconstruction and recovery of this sporting and creative economy. Government alone cannot raise the required numbers of the vaccinated needed to reach what is known as herd immunity. The It Is in Your Hands campaign, which we are launching today, is therefore intended to kickstart the active mobilization of community members to take the jab in ever-increasing numbers. The medical experts have already eloquently extolled the virtues of vaccinating more and more people on a sustained basis. As Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, who also happens to be a theatre and sports lover, a parent, brother, and friend, I wish to take this opportunity to announce that it is now time for the iconic artists, creative sport stars, to take the baton and proceed to extend the footprint of this message to areas they alone can reach. A start has already been made by some sports organizations and individual opinion leaders in the sport, arts, and culture sector. Today is about doing more. Our sector, sadly, has not been spared the negative impact of the restriction fatigue experienced by all citizens as we crave for a return to normality. The situation is exacerbated by full stadia in many of the sports matches played in some European and Australasian countries. At the core of this sector is the word participation, which is about coming together across all physical and psychological. Through the example and influence of our popular sports and creative stars, we wish to pull all stops to get the vaccination efforts back on track. It is not just about ourselves, as Amambazo has said here, but also about those we come into contact with. The virus is real and deadly. We cannot wait for it to go slow. We cannot wait for it to slow down. It can get worse before it gets better. We have to stop it, and the only avenue we have, and which we have not exploited to the full, is the vaccination of more and more South Africans. The vaccine works. It is safe. It is available. Over the next few weeks, you will need to be exposed to creative ways of getting vaccination message across, which will be premised on examples like one, as the president of SAFA said, free entry tickets for vaccinated at sport and entertainment events. 2, games and performances prioritizing the vaccinated. 3, taking the vaccine to the people. We will use all available media platforms like TV, radio, digital, electronic to communicate this campaign. And in conclusion, I wish to reiterate that it is our collective responsibility to keep each other safe. At this moment in the history of our country, we see that taking place in the following 2 ways. 1, get vaccinated ourselves whilst encouraging and helping others to do the same. 2, and the last, become part of the calls against gender-based violence and femicide and stamp it out wherever it exists. And finally, it gives me great pleasure to welcome and introduce our keynote speaker at today's launch. But before I call him to come to the fore, which is the Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Deputy President David Mabuza, I will ask Dr. Stavros to come to the fore and perform his ritual so that it's clean wherever the Deputy President will come to address us. So we are waiting for Dr. Stavros now.
Ladies and gentlemen, they say seeing is believing. Today is an important day for our minister who's just addressed us, because he's due to get his second jab. Right. It's been exactly 6 weeks since he received his first jab. So today he becomes eligible for the second jab. As you've seen, the minister addressed us with real zeal and passion. You can see he's fit and healthy. He's living proof that he took the first jab and he stood before us and he delivered an excellent speech. So he's due to take his second jab, and I'm calling up the vaccinators to deliver the second jab. And again, let us congratulate the minister in the first instance for the leadership that he's demonstrating today in taking his second jab. And secondly, we can see that the minister is confident to receive the second jab. So he is sending the right message to society that we should all be sending, which is vaccinate to stay alive, vaccinate to prevent serious disease. Thanks very much. Congratulations, Minister.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister.
Thanks once more. Deputy President, the floor is yours. Thank you. Program directors, thank you very much for the opportunity. The Premier of Gauteng, David Mabuza, Minister of Sports, Arts, Culture, Minister Nathi Mthethwa, Deputy Minister of Health, MECs that are in our midst, the Mayor of the City of Joburg, and all our Vax ambassadors. The head of the working group at Business South Africa, Dr. Stavros, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all who gave us the message of support. Today we feel reinforced. Today we feel encouraged by your words. We are honored to be joined by all of you today. Leaders in business, leaders in sports, and our creative sectors in our society in this very collaborative partnership to encourage and mobilize our communities to vaccinate. As we navigate the tribulations and the devastating impact of COVID-19, we're inspired by the voices and messages from our artists, our sporting heroes, and our heroines, as well as leaders of various sporting bodies and cultural organizations. In unison, they are all calling everyone to stand up and vaccinate. We have partnered in a collective commitment to fight against COVID-19 pandemic by ensuring that we reach out to our communities through the vaccination social mobilization campaign that we are launching today. Our call to action to every South African is to vaccinate so as to reduce the rates of infections, hospitalization, and deaths. If we're to revive our vibrant creative industries, if we are to return to our theaters, if we are to return to our stadiums to play and enjoy ourselves, it is important that our vaccination program is accelerated
to reach as many as possible. We have no doubt as government that with the active participation of all leaders and practitioners in the creative sectors and sports, we will reach every village, we will reach every suburb, every street, every house, to get all our people vaccinated. As part of this social mobilization program, we must reach out to educate our communities about the benefits of vaccines. We must dispel the myths and the spread of fake and untrue conspiracies about vaccines. In that way, we'll ensure that we eliminate vaccine hesitancy and save more lives in the process. As a country, we must contribute to the global fight against COVID-19 and revive sports and creative industries so as to contribute to our economic recovery. The onset of COVID-19 brought about unprecedented pain and hardship across the globe. It decimated lives, it disrupted global supply chains, it disrupted trade and free movement of people due to all the imposed lockdowns and travel restrictions. Here at home, our response to containing the spread of COVID-19 necessitated the implementation of restrictions that impacted on our economy as a whole, while ensuring that we save lives. The restrictions related to entertainment and sporting venues have made it difficult for some of our artists to sustain themselves. With limited resources from government, no amount of support could be enough to compensate for the negative impact of COVID-19 on sustainable incomes and livelihood. Government made contributions to lessen the negative impact on incomes. We are under no illusion that this can solve all your problems. We commend the commitment and the resilience of our artists. I heard you speaking today, and all our creative sectors as a whole, for supporting government's efforts to contain the spread of COVID-19, to prevent the loss of lives. We are aware that this has been a tough journey, but a very worthwhile journey to travel. Sports, we all agree, that is pulling through a difficult having to adapt to the changing environment engendered by COVID-19. Our athletes have persevered and participating despite COVID-19 related victim did that this we congratulate all of you for performing these national duties under the current circumstances. Collectively, we need to continue to manage the delicate balance between saving lives and opening key sectors of our economy to sustain and livelihoods. The creative industry are very key in our economy, in our recovery effort. Such recovery means opening opportunities for all those involved in the value chain sectors, either through transport or subsidies outside stadiums. The raging pandemic continues. As we stand here today, counting people that we've lost, we're counting people that are infected. This war is we must adapt to live our lives as this pandemic. We must adhere to the protocols that government set for us. But about the World Health Organization informs us that as of the 6th of September 2021, there have been 120 cases that are 19 cases, including more than 4 reported. Same time, a total of more than 5 billion people, as we speak today, have been vaccinated worldwide. There's progress. There's reasonable progress. People of the world are marching forward, step by step, emerging out of the pandemic. Like every country across the world, our path to saving lives and economic recovery depends on the accelerated rollout of our vaccination program to reach the required level of population immunity. We are on track. Be that of us are now up. We are ready to move. We're ready to confront this pandemic. For all those who have reached population immunity, including the United Kingdom, Germany, no turning back, people to attend and events of their choice. There are positive impacts on their economics. Gradually, the world is back to normal. As South Africa as a whole, We have a long way to go to reach the required level of vaccine that will allow us to follow suit. We must do it faster. Clearly, we have to do more to turn this situation. This situation of vaccine hesitation. Our people are very hesitant because of fake news around us. But it's all of us hold each other forward and vaccinate. Mobilization must allow us to rest unity.
So we apologize for the quality of sound that's coming out there. Deputy President David Mabuza speaking about the importance of vaccination, saying an accelerated vaccination program will save lives in South Africa, talking about the need to balance managing and saving people's lives and managing opening sectors of the economy to ensure that the economy is also saved. It's time for a short break. We'll come back and try and bring you that.
People, when they see you are an hope, resilience, all our community, national people, leaders, and codes, leaders, active in the communicate. Please message us. As you'll agree, COVID-19 is a common, requires action and a response. The pandemic has a whole of society's approach of us in our various capacities must play out. The first COVID-19 related deaths were reported on the 28th of March 2020 in our country. As we stand today, we have lost more than 83,000 people to the pandemic. And more than 2.8 million have been infected thus far. Our collective response as a country has been encouraging. Thanks to the leadership of the President, thanks to the leadership of Cabinet to lead this country to navigate this journey, a difficult journey. We've lost our relatives, we've lost our loved ones, but we're still here, ready to move on and fight this pandemic. Our collective response, as I've said, has been very encouraging to administer more than 13 million, close to 14 million vaccine doses to more than 10 million South Africans. It's a step in the right direction. More than 6 million South Africans are now fully vaccinated. Of course, we still have a long way to go to reach 40 million people so that we can reach the necessary population immunity. This is a critical milestone to strive for if we are to confront and survive the anticipated fourth wave. We are told the fourth wave is before us. Yesterday we were told about the third wave. It came. It was devastating. We lost lives. So we better prepare ourselves for what is coming before us. And the best way of preparing ourselves is to vaccinate. Without any doubt, in addition to non-pharmaceutical measures, vaccines are the only available antidotes to decisively deal with COVID-19 that has negatively affected people's lives and lives. Vaccines will remain our that the creative industries, the sporting economies tend to it. To return the stadium empty. Desire to return theaters. That's shows. It lies with us to go out and mobilize communities to vaccinate. Nation is what opened the stadium for the popular derby that we. Nation is what it will open just what it will joy of jail, the a vaccination normality. These events I've mentioned you attend to the life of our through many livelihood from by inoculating through this COVID-19 vaccine, we can address numbers of unemployment of our young people in the markets, employment affected, it's not opening these events and activities by the sector. Of course, we are taking care of our lives and care of our livelihoods. It's a very difficult balance that we must strive for. But of course, our economic process suffers. We therefore people and artists forward this today to continue this your patriotic act that you have shown today is commended. It will continue our scientific and that our decisions are all based on evidence, which clearly that saves lives. Our roots and champions are based on scientific data, which confirms that lose infections. Vaccines reduce the chance of disease. Vaccines prevent death. Being inoculated against COVID-19 and population has full spin-offs. For the sports people, for artists, for fashion designers, models, for actors, and hospitality-related activities. Sports, the arts, audience, and without audience, function and content. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we shall refuse vaccines meant to save our lives and meant to ensure we rebuild and reconstruct our economy. We urge all of you to challenge and dismiss those who perpetuate unproven myths, unproven conspiracies about vaccines. Let us all stand up and join this campaign so that we're able to vaccinate 70% of our adult population in the country. Together, we can get out of this present challenge and move towards vaccinating the 40 million people by the 30th of December 2021, which we have put as a target for ourselves. Now, to be able to reach this target, there are milestones that we must fulfill as we move. That means every day we must vaccinate more than 250,000 people to 300,000 people every day to be able to reach the target of 30th December 2021. Our key message is that vaccines will save our lives. The full reopening and recovery of our economy will depend on our ability to accelerate our vaccination program. Once more, thanks to all the messages of support that we have received today. I said, we feel encouraged, we feel reinvigorated as a nation, as a people. We feel reinforced to march forward, march a bit faster so that we reach the required population immunity. It is in our hands. It is possible if we work together, driven by a sense of unity and patriotism. I thank you. Thank you very much.
His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, thank you very much for the launch of the campaign. And we are hoping that we will all heed the call you have made to ensure that indeed the 70% target so that we have of the nation gets vaccinated and we get to this population immunity for South Africa. And the creatives out there and those who are here, the sporting fraternity, they have heard you, and we will heed the call and make sure that indeed the message reaches every household and everyone in that household, and that we will heed the call. Sizokwenza kanjalo, sizama ukuqhuba nokuthi konke lokhu kwenziwe ngezilimi zonke ukuze wonke umuntu akwazi ukulalela aphinde futhi enze lokho okucelwayo kuye ukuthi ahambe ayogoma. Ngoba uma sikhuluma mhlambe ngesingisi kukhona esingabashiya ngaphandle. Siyabonga kakhulu Sekela Mongameli. Sesizocela manje u-executive mayor wethu baba uCouncillor Jolly Matongo ukuthi enze asenzele vote of thanks. Emva kwalokho sizocela ukuthi ninganyakazi nje nize ninyakaziswe uJerusalem uma seza lapha usisi wethu ethi ukuthi nje sithi nje vuvu sibe never room. Siyabona nje sithi nje ukuthi sibone ukuthi yini lesishoda ngayo, what are we missing. Sizoke siceleke u-executive mayor baba Matongo sicela ukhulumene usenzele ukubonga.
Thank you very much, program directors, Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable David Mabuza, Premier of our province, Honorable Makura. Allow me, in the interest of time, not to mention all the dignitaries by name. Safe to say you are honored, you are recognized and respected. Ladies and gentlemen, in a diverse country like ours, sport and the creative industries have always been the unifying language that needs to gather the common aspiration of all South Africans, regardless of their station in life. It is therefore appropriate that it is sport and the creative industries that have once again rallied us together here to tackle an important goal we all have. It is obvious in team sports such as rugby, football, and cricket that no individual, no matter how good or gifted, can win alone. It is, however, true even in individual sport like golf that those who make it to the top do so with the support and efforts of others who remain unseen to the cheering fans. And so it will be with the fight against COVID-19. No sector can win against the virus by going against it alone. I therefore wish to take this moment to express my gratitude to our leaders in government, in sport and the creative industries for making time to say in very emphatic ways that they are part of Team South Africa against the COVID pandemic. Without your collective wisdom and leadership, a people can flounder and be led astray by prophets of doom and gloom. We express our gratitude as well to the representatives of the fans and the fans themselves who have taken it upon themselves to become brand ambassadors as we fight the toughest and deadliest